people would never see this. So when I'm asking...
That's fine, but you're doing this on behest of the constituents. I mean, whether or not you gain any political points for it, I think you've done a good job on this front, and I've said this to you before, Eddie. So whether or not people understand, sure, that's your job to help them understand with other avenues, including Openline. So, I mean, Kent said that you did something wrong or disgraceful or misled the people. You're rebutting. Sure, that's the nature of the beast. It's politics 101.
But Paddy, my point is the healthcare committee is saying, Eddie, that's not what we're being told. So I'm saying, guys, look, here's the information. I send it out to them. So the information they're being given, my point on this whole information, on this whole hospital, let's walk out, let's have a public meeting and say, here's exactly what's going on. You can't drop information in the House of Assembly. Hopefully the public is not going to see the information. I bring it up and attack me because it's wrong, because your government put it out there, Paddy. My point is the people out there are frustrated. I hear it all the time. I have no problem knocking on anybody's door during this by-election. I have no problem standing in front of a public meeting, because everything I said and done, I can back up. And Paddy, my point, the people are out there, the Action Committee are saying, Eddie, we need answers. We can't get answers. So I'm doing this, and what I'm saying is let's go out. If the hospital's not going to start till 2016, which I doubt even if it will, the main hospital, let's go and be honest with the people. Let's tell them what's going to be in the hospital. Let's tell them when it's going to start, and let's stick to it, Paddy. That's my whole point of it all.
Listen, I understand it, and you're doing your job, and from where I sit, you're doing yeoman service here, and you're performing your role as a critic to the best of your ability, and I think you're doing good stuff. But if the government says, here's the timelines, and you don't accept it as an answer, then we end up in this political churn of complete waste of air, to be honest with you. So until we know they have missed a deadline, and every time they've missed it, yourself and your party and the NDP and all of us hosts and the other journalists, we have called them out on it, and they are wearing it. Politically has been a huge harm to the PCs on the West Coast, is the whole issue with breaking the promises and missing their own self-imposed deadlines on the construction of the hospital. I'm completely with you, and you've heard me speak to it. I think it's ridiculous.
Yep.
But they continue to go down the road. I don't know if they're going to hit these benchmarks. I have no idea. And if and when they don't, you and me and everyone else, we will go back on and pile on them. Absolutely we will. So another comment I would have, Eddie, is you've said, and you're right, and I won't dispute it, you've been on this file and talking about it since 2011, and if not before, in social circles and otherwise. Yeah. Absolutely, and that's true. At some point, people are also going to view this as it is playing a prominent role again in the House of Assembly, despite what the government says for timelines. And we can say that they're lying, whatever the case may be. But we're also spending an awful lot of time in the House of Assembly on this with the pending by-election in Humber East, because we've had some other matters in the House of Assembly getting zero attention, which I think are deserve way more time in question period than it's currently getting. But we have a focus on Humber East now because there's by-election on the 25th. Is that a fair comment?
Paddy, how this came up and how I got involved with this again, there's two things. First thing was a brochure that Tom Marshall sent out last week, which I have, which people would get it, which is talking about the hospital. I said, well, that's not correct what he's saying there. And the second thing, how this came up, was when we got in the House of Assembly Monday, when they dropped this pre-commitment budget, this pre-commitment for next year's budget, this is how this came up again, because it was a pre-commitment. If they didn't have to table this, if the design was done, which they said was complete, I wouldn't be talking about this. But they put this tabled this in the House. I think it was Tuesday. They tabled this in the House of Assembly. So this is how this came up again, because they're saying, oh my God, if they're pre-committing for next year, the design was supposed to be done. So the design is not done. So this has nothing to do with the by-election. This has to do with the tabling of a document in the House of Assembly, which I noticed. And then, Petty, I want to make it quite clear. I dealt with Tom Marshall and Dwight Ball, dealt with Tom Marshall to help resolve this, to bring this. So this is not politics. I mean, Tom Marshall, you asked Tom Marshall, asked Dwight Ball about the time we gave him the information on the PET scanner, how the radiotopes can be transferred and how they were from Hamilton, 2,500 kilometers. Yeah. We gave him the emails. We gave him the information. I gave him the information on the single bunker units.
You did good work.
We didn't all that. So this is not the by-election. This is because what the government tabled in the House of Assembly, and this is what's being told differently out in Corner Brook. So would it be irresponsible of me to have a document tabled in the House of Assembly and say, oh my God, the design is not even complete. They're pre-committing money for next year to complete the work that they're saying is going to start. I mean, it's my duty to bring it up.
Yeah, and when and you're doing it. So what's the big deal?
The big deal is, Paddy, is that I want, if you're going to make a commitment, let's go. If there's going to be a change, let's walk out and say to the people in Corner Brook, we have to change the timelines because of this. And I just went through all the years, all the commitments that I've been vilified over the time, and I've been said...
Sure, that doesn't hurt your feelings, Eddie. You're a hard ticket.
Pardon me?
That doesn't hurt your feelings. You're a hard ticket boy. You're putting your points out there. You're making your point known.
Petty. It don't bother me one bit.
No, I know it doesn't.
What bothers me is when people expect services like not have to travel to St. John's for radiation, and it's put behind for another 2 or 3 or 4 years. That's who I'm fighting for, Petty.
I totally get it.
That's what I'm fighting for. And Petty, this has nothing to do, because this hospital, I'm going to be out of politics by the time this hospital is built. I know this. But Petty, let me tell you one thing. When I walk away, I'm going to walk away to say that I fought the best I could for this hospital. And I can tell you, if we form the government next year, I know Israel Hand, I know Gerald Parsons, I know Barry Wheeler. They'll hold my feet to the fire just like I'm holding this government's feet to the fire, and they should. And if they never, I'd be disappointed in every one of them, but I know they will. That action committee will hold the Liberal feet to the fire, just like the PEC. And the reason why I'm doing this, because I get the information, I pass it on, and I want answers. And if I got to keep fighting to get answers like I did, I'm going back for almost 4 years now when I started this, and I was said, no, you can't have radiation. We're getting radiation.
Yeah, look, I've already said several times, I think you've done good work on this particular file. And make no mistake, we won't need to rely on anyone else to call the Liberals' feet to the fire if and when you take government, because I'll be at it.
And you should be.
And what we will not do is, which we have not allowed, or I haven't allowed, the PCs to be able to blame the Liberals for past shortcomings and spendings and that stuff, because that's a waste of time. And nor are we going to let the Liberals get away with blaming the Tories for everything that they got to deal with politically, because if you want to be in the government, you got to be able to govern. And the pointing the finger stuff, that has got to come to an end in this province. I'm not accusing you of it directly. I'm saying that we've had enough of that around here, because if you can't get in there and do the job as prescribed by the people without blaming everybody else, then we'll just try the next party. And that could be the Greens, could be the Rhinoceros Party, or the Russian Dance Party. I don't care who it is. But we got to get in there and start doing some work.
If Liberal government is formed, Eddie Joyce, as part of the Liberal government, will stand up in front of the people in Western Newfoundland and Labrador, all over Western Newfoundland, and say, here is the situation, and we'll take it from there. I mean, this idea, if you start going back and saying, okay, well, this should have been done, this is not going to help the people who need radiation. I have no problem standing up in any public meeting and doing that. I have a history of doing that, and I will continue to do that. But I think it's very incumbent to keep the government, and as if we're in, they should keep our feet to the fire, and you should also, Paddy.
Absolutely.
And I respect all that. I respect it 100%. And I expect it, and we deserve it.
Well, it's part of the business, right, isn't it? Because the same role that the opposition plays currently, your party, we all play that role where we sit in our jobs too, because we have to be that extra extension where we, all partisanship aside, we get to hold everyone's feet to the fire, because that's what makes it, hopefully, the best interest of the people will get attended to in the House of Assembly. And sometimes we waste a lot of time on other stuff when we could be doing more and better, and that's for every politician and every party that's ever sat in the House, and you understand that too. Eddie, I got to go to the break.
Eddie,
wrap it up.
Just 2 things. Thanks for helping me out with 911, giving me the ear to do it.
Yeah.
For the 12 fire departments, the government changed their mind, so thank you for that. We have to fight on the other thing. And Patty, the second thing, again, thank you again today for asking tough questions, putting me on the position to answer tough questions, because I appreciate that, and I think all politicians who call in deserve that.
I appreciate your time very much, Eddie. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Hey, buddy. Bye-bye. Eddie